Okay, so we are recording, and this will be posted in the course, um, hopefully a little bit later today, if not first thing tomorrow morning. So, and if you go back and look in the course, you will see that the synchronous sessions that we did on Monday are both posted in the course. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay. All right. Can you all see the slideshow? Okay, good. So this is the Getting Google Blended session. I recognize some of the names in here, so I think you guys have seen some of this already. So I might go through this a little bit quicker than I did in the past. So, so just bear with me if you're seeing this for a second time. So we have a couple of goals for this course, which is basically to make sure that you understand or have a stronger understanding of some of the Google tools, so you know what's available in your G Suite, and you understand what it's capable of. And we also want to talk to you about the digital learning competencies and get you exposed to those. That is a part of best practices when it comes to teaching and learning. It is informed by the ISTE standards. It's informed by the teacher evaluation systems, among other things. And we just want to make sure that is something that you are familiar with and you can incorporate seamlessly into your lessons. And then we just want to talk a little bit about being able to combine the two, being able to use the features that are available in applications inside of your Google workspace, and the digital learning competencies. So some basic expectations that for the course, this is a blended learning course. So part of it, there is a synchronous and an asynchronous session. So part of the synchronous one is attending 2 of these synchronous sessions. The course does conclude on the 31st of July. So you just want to make sure that you have all of your assignments in by then. One of the things that we encourage you to do is to make sure you check your grade book frequently. I try to try to review the grades as often as I can, to try to keep you up to date. As far as I can remember, I tried to update all the grades, any submissions that were done as of last night. I believe are all they've all been updated. They've already been reviewed. So when you go back and take a look at it in your grade book, you're going to see a couple of possible things in the grade book. So one, you might see a check mark. If you see a check mark, that means we received your submission, reviewed it, and everything looks good. You earned credit for that particular assignment. If you see an X, that means we received your submission, but there is some feedback for it. There's something that we need you to look at, or maybe we don't have access to something that you submitted. I know that when I went through some of the submissions yesterday, there were a few, not a lot, but there were a few submissions where they were private, and so we weren't able to view your submission. So we just posted in the comments that we just needed you to share it with us. So anytime that you see an X, there's going to be feedback there just to let you know, oh, this is what we're missing. Can you fix this, or can you change these permissions, or do whatever? So please note that anytime you do see the X, that is not the end of it. You can resubmit, and we always encourage you to resubmit. So any other symbol that you would see in your grade book next to one of your assignments basically means that we haven't reviewed your submission yet. It looks like it's been posted, but we just haven't gotten to view it yet. So that's all that means. So we just want you to be aware of when you go check the grade book and you want to see the status of everything. That's what those things mean. There's going to be 5 sections in the course. There's going to be, each section will cover a different application. So there is one for Google Docs. There is one for slides, mind maps, drawing, and Google Forms. So you'll just choose any 3 of those that you want. You don't have to do all 5. Any 3 that you want, and then you'll just complete that section. Each section includes an artifact assignment and a reflection portion of it. So a couple of basic things that I've seen that I just wanted to make sure I mentioned real quick based off of some of the submissions. Number one, please make sure that you submit the proper application. So for example, if you are doing the Google Doc section, then your submission should be a Google Doc. If you're doing the Google Slides section, your submission should be a Google Slide. That's the section that we're talking about. That's the application we're dealing with. And so we're just checking your mastery on that particular application. So just want to encourage you to make sure that you do that. And the other thing is in your reflection, when you're doing your reflection, please try to make sure that you are explaining how certain things are being used. The reflection, I would say, of all the assignments that you're going to do in here for each section is probably the most important part. That is really where you're going to show how you are connecting your artifact that you made to a competency. So it's important to make sure that you explain, for example, if you're talking about how students are going to be collaborating, explain the collaboration. Are they making something together? Are they engaging in a conversation about something? Sometimes what happens is when people submit how certain things are happening, they'll just use words. They'll just say students will collaborate, students will communicate. Okay, well, what are they going to be talking about? What are they going to be doing in this collaboration? Are they making something? Are they writing something together? Talk about what that collaboration means. So I just encourage you to be specific as you're writing your reflections. For support, now I know this is a week-long thing, so time's of the essence. So if you do need support, you're welcome to email me. I put my email on there. Also in the course, and I'll show that to you in a few minutes, you can also schedule a time to meet with either myself or Trish. Both of our calendars are in there. So you're welcome to reach out to us and schedule a time to meet with us over Zoom, and we'll answer any questions that you have. If you're not sure how to do something, if you're not sure how to set something up, we're happy to support you with getting you fixed with that, getting you all set. You will see a basic 5E framework designed in the course. So you're going to see a 5 sections or 5 E's, I should say, within a module. So each module will include an explore section, and an explore section generally will introduce the application to it. So when you see the explore section in Google Drawing, we're introducing you to that particular tool. Next, you'll see engage. That's where you're going to see us talk a little bit more about what possible competencies are associated with that, and also provide you some resources that you can explore on your own. And that's where that's what the engage section will be for in this particular course. You're also going to see an exercise part. The exercise is a guided practice. That is just something where we just walk you through a sample of that application, of that tool, and walk you through some steps of using it. And so we're actually going to do that in this session today. So one of the exercises will be completed for this one during the session. Then there's an evidence. The evidence will include the demonstration of mastery, which is that artifact assignment that I mentioned, and the reflection assignment. That's where you will turn those in. And then that last part is an evaluation, which is just kind of just an overall reflection at the end about that particular application. Okay, so that is just kind of introduction to this blended learning course. I'm just going to jump into our course real quick. Let me hop in here. And just want to mention a few things. I'm not going to go into great detail. I mostly just want to just talk to you about some of the updates that we made um, about the synchronous sessions and some of the information that's on here. So when you come to the course, number one, you're going to see some announcements that are here. Trish and I will post announcements. Please make sure you take a look at those because we do try to put some any relevant information that for you. Or any alerts that we need to share with you, we'll post that through the announcements there. So when you go here to the start here section, there's our information, our emails, our Calendly is located in these buttons here. So if you want to have a short meeting with myself or Trish, you can click on here. That'll take you to our Calendly. You can pick a date and a time, and we will and we will be with you at that time that you select. But what I did want to mention to you is there's a link to join these meetings. These synchronous sessions is right here. So you can always go here to click on that to do that. We are, oh, I need to go back in. I'm sorry, I need to add the link to the synchronous sessions, to the recordings here. But we did get some emails from people who weren't able to attend, who missed meetings, whether they were teaching Camp CMS or had other things going on. So if you weren't able to attend one of the synchronous sessions on Monday, then we did include this Mrs. Synchronous Session link here that you can click on, and you can view the recording, and there is a form for you to fill out some additional information, kind of just indicating that you watched the video. So that part is there. So I will go back and make sure to add the recordings here for you to watch, but you can also view them under this Mr. Synchronous Session link here that will open up this modal, and the links to the recordings are down here. Okay, so all that information is there. So, and then the last part here, this is something that you would get to after you have, I'm skipping around, but this is where the page that I'm currently on, you get to this after you've gone through the first portions of the course. But it will have information here about each application, just kind of a brief statement about what each one is, so you're familiar. And then there'll be some supplemental information. When you hover over each one, it'll have links or buttons that you can view more information about that particular one. In some cases, it'll have a video that you can watch on here. Some of this content is also available in that particular application's module. So you'll be able to view it in multiple places. And then once you get down here, this is where you could choose. Remember, I said before, there are 5 sections. You only have to complete 3. This is where you can come here and choose which application you want to begin working on. Okay. So for today's session, we are going to talk about Google My Maps. And My Maps is one of the applications that, of all of these, I would say is probably the one that people are least familiar with. Has anyone in here used My Maps before? Okay. So I'm going to show you just a few basic things about My Maps. It's actually fairly simple, and show you how to get started. We're actually going to build one from scratch, and so I can show you what that looks like and how that works from here. So I'm actually going to go over to my Google My Maps section and open the My Maps Explore section. So Google My Maps is something where you can build maps within here, and you can include information within that particular map. So that information could be just some basic text related to that area, or it could be links that are relevant to that area. It could be images, it could be videos. It gives you lots of different things, and it kind of gives you the opportunity to create kind of a journey or a map that students will be able to progress through, but at the same time be exposed to different forms of content that's relevant to that area that you're selecting. So there's a video here on using My Maps. Now, the nice thing about Maps is it works very similar to all of our other Google products. So the permissions are the same, the collaboration is the same. If I wanted to collaborate with Trish on building a map, then I could create one and share it with her, and we could build one together. So we do have the ability to be able to work on this simultaneously. I can share it with my whole class. So there's a lot of flexibility there. All the same basic permissions that are available in all other Google applications in your workspace, they work the same here in your in Google My Maps too. Okay. So I am going to progress through here. Let me jump to the engage section. Actually, I should this person next. So one of the things, this is another thing I want to mention while I have the group here. As I was reading the submissions yesterday, I think the vast majority of you are doing a great job and you understand it. But just for clarification, when you're submitting your reflection, one of the things that we ask you to do is to select a competency that your artifact that you make aligns to. And so in each section, you will see at some point, and actually in multiple points, you'll see it in the engage section. You also see it in the evidence section when you do your assignments. There are the competencies there. And to clarify, the competencies, these accordions here, you'll see that have arrows. These are accordions. And so when you click on them, you will see the competencies underneath them. These accordions here, where it says digital content and instruction, data and assessments, those are what's called focus areas. That's what the state was calling those. And within those focus areas are the competencies. So when you go in here and say, I want to connect my Google My Maps to this competency that says design digitally enhanced learning experiences that encourage all students to pursue individual interests, preferences, and differences, that's what you can use to associate or align your product with, your artifact with. You can align it to other competencies if you would like. We just usually try to offer some potential ones that would work best with this particular application. So make sure that when you do, and again, the vast majority of the submissions I saw were doing just that, but there were one or two that were confusing, which is very common. The focus area with being a competency. All right. So in the Google My Maps Engage section, when you go down here, there are some resources that are available for you. There's some really good things to help you get started from the Google support. There's a video here for Google My Maps for beginners. One of the things I really liked is located in the advanced section. There is this website here that was made by an educator, which is everything you wanted to know about Google My Maps. I think this would be really helpful for you to get started to learn about My Maps. This person really uses it and knows it well. So they have some good short videos here that will walk you through how to add My Maps and use them in your classroom. So just to give you just some examples, I've talked to several different teachers and worked with them on different projects they've done to use My Maps. And so we've done some really basic things at the beginning of the school year and where people use Google My Maps as their introduction. So instead of doing the activity where maybe students just come in and talk about who they are, or they put things in a shoebox, they might, to kind of put items that are related to them, they might make a Google Mind Map to talk about their summer and say, hey, I went to this place to visit in the summer, or I went to that place to visit in the summer, or I'm from here and then I moved to this place and then I moved to Charlotte, and just kind of use this as their way to introduce themselves to each other. We've also seen this used for other things, like, for example, I worked with a music teacher who was talking about the culture of music. And they talked about how the impact of music in different areas across the country. And so they might talk about, you know, the percussions in this area, and the strings in that area, and what it meant to that culture. And they included all this information within their Google Mind Map. And then you can use this for things like history, is to show the battle of things. Or if you're reading a book about something, you can use your mind map to kind of show the how things moved in the book, and talk about, use this as a way to process and summarize some of the things that are occurring. So there's lots of different ways that you can use this for. So for the purposes of today, I'm going to use it basically as a science model. And we're going to be looking at this from a science perspective, and we're going to be building this one together.
One of the things that I used it for when I was in the elementary technology lab was when Pokemon Go came out. And all the kids were a lot of the students were playing Pokemon Go. And so I had them create Google My Maps of where they had found the best Pokemons. And what it did was it made them more familiar with Huntersville and finding landmarks in Huntersville, because they were having to kind of create a new kind of map that wasn't tied to the game. So they could share those with each other and give them tips. And it was just a way for them to get used to looking at the map of Huntersville in a new light, and how they could narrow down where they found a Pokemon and then try to match it to a map and do it that way.
Thank you for sharing that, Trish. So that's another good example of how you can use it. So there's lots of creative ways that you can do this. Some of the videos that we do talk about share some possibilities with it as well. So in the chat, I have posted some instructions for a Google Mind Map that we're going to make now. And so I'm going to follow this to walk you through developing your own mind map. But I wanted you, just in case you wanted to look at it, this is also in the course itself. I'm going to walk you through some of these directions so you can see how you can build this for yourself. Okay. So there's a couple different ways where you can get to Google Mind Maps. We're going to build one from scratch. So in Google, in your Google workspace, in your Google Drive, you can go, once you get to Google Drive, you can click on New. And then if you go down here to where it says More, you will see the option for Google Mind Maps. Okay. Again, if you once you access your Google Drive, you can click on New, and then go down to More, and then go to Google Mind Maps. You can also just type in mymaps.google.com, and then that will take you to the same spot. So either one of those would work fine. Okay. And also, as I go through this, I try to keep a moderate pace for this. So if I am going too fast, or if you need me to repeat something, please just let Trish know in the chat. Or you, or there's few of us where I think everyone can feel comfortable with unmuting themselves. And if you need me to repeat something or do something over again, if I'm going too fast, please let me know. Or if I'm going too slow, and say, yeah, we got it, Mr. Harrison, you can speed it up. I don't mind picking up the pace. So we are going to begin by creating our map. So to get started, I'm going to click on this button here to create a new map. So hopefully all of you all will see that. And that will bring you here, where you will see this map, and you're going to see a couple of different things. You're going to see this box here that will enable us to organize our map and add new content to the maps. And we're going to be playing with that, playing with adding layers. I'm not going to go through the sharing, but the sharing is just like any other sharing in any other Google file. But we are going to be looking at the ability to use the layers and being able to add different things inside of that one. And the layering is basically grouping. So if you want to be able to group some of these some locations together, you can do that through the layering. And I'm going to show you what that looks like here in a second. So in the example that we have, I asked you to create a new map and title it ecosystems. So I'm going to go up here to where it says untitled map, and I'm going to call it ecosystems. You do have the ability to add a description here if you want to. I'm just going to leave it blank, but just know that that's there. And so now we have our new map that's titled ecosystems. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a map, or I'm going to create multiple layers that's going to have different ecosystems inside of it. That's going to have just some different locations that would fit for that particular ecosystems. So in this first layer, I'm going to create a map, or excuse me, a layer, sorry, called rainforest. I'll click save. So this is going to be my first grouping here. And please feel free to follow along as I'm doing this. And if you need me to repeat something, I can. I just want to walk you guys through this so you can see how it works. And so now what I'm going to do is, now that I have a rainforest layer, I can start adding locations within this grouping. So I'm going to add different locations that fit within this rainforest ecosystem. Okay, and so the first one I'm going to do is going to be the Amazon rainforest in Brazil. And so I can go up here into this search box here and look and search for locations. Now you can search for anything in the world. You can type in whatever you want, and you should be able to find options for that here. So I'm going to just type in rainforest, and you see things will start to pop up. And I could be more specific and find something that's different or maybe better suited. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how this works. So I'm just going to go up here and I'm going to choose one of them. So there's the Amazon rainforest, and for the one that's in Brazil. And then it'll give me some basic information about this particular location. And then what I can do is I can click to add it to my map. Just by clicking this little marker here, add to map. And then now you see under my rainforest layer, I have my Amazon rainforest. Okay. And now with my Amazon rainforest that I just created, I have the ability to add a few additional things to it. So you'll notice down here in this bottom right-hand corner, is I have some different things that I can add to my map. So if I wanted to, I can click on here and I can add some styling to it. So if I wanted to add some color, maybe I want to make this something that's a little bit more green, since this is a rainforest one. You'll see it'll change my marker to green. So I have that there. I can change the icon to it from a marker to something different. They have a variety of different ones to choose from. So this doesn't have to be just the plain marker. You could make it something a little bit more related to whatever your location is. I'm going to leave it the way it is right now, but I just wanted you to see what's available there. They do have this available in uh, each of the icons in different sections, so that they have categories for it. So you can pick one if you want to. So if I wanted to choose something a little bit more rainy like that, I can click OK. And then now you'll see there's my new icon for that particular location. So you can play with that and find one that works best for you. They also have this edit part where I can, if I wanted to change the title of this, maybe I don't want to say Amazon Rainforest, maybe I just wanted to say Amazon, I can put that there. If I want to, I'm going to leave it the way it is, but just know that you can edit what it says here. I can add a description. I just pulled something that was very basic that I'm going to use, but you can go inside of here and add a brief description for your students to read when they go to that particular location. I'm going to show you what it looks like on their end once they're ready to view it. And so you can include that there. And I'm going to click save. And so now I have a brief description that's available there for my students to view. Okay. So that's the edit part. The next one you'll see is
Where
the
did
ability to add. I'm sorry?
Where did you get that description from? I missed it.
Oh, in the description that I just wrote is in the document that I sent you. The document that's in the.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
So I'm working from, I got two different screens going on. So on one screen, I got what I'm showing you all, and on my other screen, I have the directions that I sent you in the chat. So if you see me looking the other way, that's why. Okay, so next to the edit button, there is this camera option that when you select it, it will give you the ability to add images or video to it. Now, one thing you will notice is that as you start adding locations in your map, it'll pull images for you. You'll start to see images automatically show there for you that are related to that particular place. But you can add your own. So if I click here, and then you will see it will give you the ability to upload a video. So if you have a video on your computer, you can upload it, or an image, an image on your computer, I should say. You can upload it. You can pull an image by URL. You can pull something from your Google Drive, or you can pull an image or a video, from YouTube. So in the directions that I gave you, I included a YouTube video that you could include, just as an example. And so there is the YouTube video that you can include inside of there. And I'm going to press select. And now I have a YouTube video as a part of that location. So my students will be able to view the text from the description as well as the video. And I'm just going to click save. And I'm going to come back over here. And so now in my rainforest one, I have my Amazon rainforest. Okay. Any questions about that so far? Okay. Forgive me for 1 second. You need to charge up. So, that's one location. I'm going to add another one. So the other one that we're going to include inside of here is we are going to, the next location that's in the directions is the Congo rainforest. I can go over here and I can type in Congo rainforest. And I think we're going to use this first one up here from the Dominican Republic. And we're going to click on that one. And again, you'll see the same basic setup here. Is you will see that we have the Congo rainforest that's available here. And then if we want to include this one, we can add it to our map and see now our rainforest location now has two. It has the Amazon location and the Congo one. And so now with the Congo one, I have the same information here where I can begin adding the description. There is, again, a description in the directions. I can include that just like we did with the other one by going over here to this pencil to click edit. I can add that description there. And then once you do that, you can press save. And now for this one, what we ask you to do is, excuse me, is to include some images, is to pull some images. And so we put some images to include inside of it. Now we don't give you the actual image, we just ask you to search for these image. So the first one we just have on here is a gorilla. So if we wanted to include an image, we would click on this camera. And now, if we don't have a picture of that particular thing, that particular item or object, we can go over here to the Google image search and I can type in gorilla and find an image here to use and add that particular one and press select. And now I will have my image of my gorilla. Now, you do have the ability to add more than one item to your location. So right now I have just one picture of a gorilla on here, but I can add others on here as well. And so if I go over here, you'll see there's a little plus sign in that bottom corner of where the gorilla is. If I click the plus sign, it will then give me the ability to add another item. And so now I can come over here and do the same thing, and I can do a search for an elephant. And I can include a picture of an elephant to go along with my picture of my gorilla. And I can continue to add however many pictures I feel is relevant to whatever that location is. So now I'll just put 3 in there for now, but you get the idea. You can continue just to add more and more pictures to this. I'm going to press save. I'll just close this out. And so now we have 2 locations. Okay, so I'm going to add just one more location on here. There is a third one on the directions that I am just going to put on here. So I'm going to put this one, it's a park in Malaysia, Rainforest Park in Malaysia. So I am going to select that particular item. I do want to mention a couple of other things that you can be aware of. They do have a measuring tool here as well. So if you want to be able to have your students maybe measure the distance between multiple locations, you can go about doing that. You can use this particular measuring tool and have them measure the distance between 2 locations on your map. So if I wanted to say what's the distance between this Amazon rainforest and the Congo rainforest, they can use a measuring tool to do that. You can even use a measuring tool to measure the area of specific areas. So in one of the videos that we have that was in that website here, they do a good job of showing you how you can, where to go, using this measuring tool. You can use a measuring tool to measure the area of a country. If you want to maybe go to look at Australia, you can use this measuring tool and go around the outline of Australia to get an idea of how big that particular piece of land is. If you want to do that for maybe that, you know, a whole continent, you want to see how big Africa is, this measuring tool can be used to show that. So the video here does a really good job of showing you how you can do that. Okay, so I have my my third one. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Completely will mess that one up. But the main thing I just want to just also include in here is the ability to include links, which you can include as a part of your description here. So I can go inside of this and include my description, and my description can include a link. And I can put this in here, and there is a link as a part of it. When I press save, you see there's a link there. And what I really like about the link option is how many things you can do with links. This link could be to other websites. It could be to Google Docs. It could be to a Google form. It could be to a lot of different things. It just opens the door for different ways that you can use your map and have your students interact with the content inside your map. So we have 3 different locations within this layer. We have an Amazon forest one that has a video. We have a Congo rainforest one that has images. And we have this Kinabalu National Park one, which has a URL that they can go in and experience whatever that URL takes them to.
Aubrey, can you show them how to add a link again?
Sure. So when the link is just something that is done in the text area. And so all I did was when I went to the national park here and I clicked the edit marker here, in this space where I typed in my description, I just included a URL. And so in the directions that were given, that are linked in the chat, I believe, again, it's the Kinabalu National Park. You'll see down there, there is one for, let me just move this over here so you can see what I'm talking about. So here are the directions. And then this down here was what I copied. I included the URL that I can put on there, but again, the URL could be anything, any web address. So I just found that one related to that part. Okay. And so now I have a layer that's displaying here that has 3 different locations. And if I wanted to add another layer, I could just click here and do add layer. And then now I'll have a second layer. So maybe my first layer was about rainforest. Maybe my second layer is going to be about deserts. And I could begin building locations about deserts for my students to explore that will include all the same types of information, from links to videos to images to text. So you have a lot of different things that you can do. You see the layers are basically a great way to organize all of your locations within your Google Mind Map. Okay. And so I can continue to build this out. I'm going to stop here for now, but you could imagine all the locations and all the different ways we can organize it. And so to get a sense of what it would look like when I make this available to my students, I can click this preview button. And this is what they would see. Now, I didn't have any locations under that last layer. So that's why you're not really seeing it here. But my students would be able to click on this and go to each location. You see there are the markers that are listed here. And then my students could click on it, and then they'll see up here the information that I entered in here. There is the name, there is the description that we included. There's information here. They can even go to Google Maps to view it. And then down here at the bottom, there are some of the information that we included in here. And so the first one you'll see should be the video. That's the video that I included in there. So that part is included. But as I mentioned to you before, when you enter a location, it'll provide you with images as well. So the rest of these images were ones that were included as a part of this location. And so that's why these are here. I didn't put these in here. They just came as a part of that particular location. And then you'll see this, the next one is the Congo rainforest. Again, the information and the photos down here. Some of the ones that I put on, some of them are going to be the ones that were included with this location. I know that when we used to do this training in a face-to-face setting, we used Google My Maps as a treasure hunt. And so each location has information that they had to find the answer to and fill it out on a separate form to learn more about something, a particular topic. So there's lots of different ways that you can utilize this. Also down here at the bottom, that they do have some different ways that you can view the map. So you can see that you can go from one way, from something that looks like that to something that looks like this. You can zoom in and out to get a closer look at a particular space. So you can kind of play with that, access to that. They do have over here with these, when you click on these three dots, some additional things that you can do. You can embed your map. So if you wanted to put this map on your Canvas page, or if you wanted to put it on a Google site, you can go in and embed this into one of your locations or wherever you want to place it. But there's a lot of different things that you can do with this. Are there any questions about Google My Maps or anything that we talked about today? Okay. Trish, do you have that attendance form?
There you go.
Okay. So in the chat, Trish has included the attendance form for today. So if you all will complete that, that's just our way of seeing that you were at today's session. I'm going to also add to this saying that if you attended today's session for this, the guided practice session, which we just basically did, that is in the course for Google My Maps, for that particular section, you can skip that part. This being a part of this particular synchronous session will count as your guided practice. So you are welcome to complete it and do, if you want to do it for yourself and practice it, you're welcome to. But we just walked through that whole process just now, and there's no need for you to go through that again in the course if you unless you want to. So you're welcome to skip that one. We'll be able to look at this form here to see everyone that was here. So if you don't have any questions, once you have filled out the form, you're welcome to sign off and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. If you do have any questions, I'll stay on and answer anything that you guys may have. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day.
Hi, I have another question.
Sure.
So how many, if I was gonna do a hyperdoc, like how many boxes do I have to include? Or does, so for, I know it's the 5 E's, that it's just that I have to do?
So when you're designing your own hyperdoc,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to have the 5 E's there. You can have just 3 things there. I've had people turn in and explore, and engage and apply, and that was their sections for it. And it was just kind of based off of, you know, the students that they were working with. And that's perfectly fine. You don't have to have, I think I mentioned it in the video, the sections that are included in some of the examples of the hyperdocs.
Mm-hmm.
They'll include, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes, and you're welcome to use all those. But you may be able to consolidate that down or condense it down. You may not need all those things, or you might be able to combine some of those things. So that's
Okay.
perfectly fine if you reduce that down to 3 or 4 of those boxes. So don't feel like you have to keep those templates exactly the way they showed.
Okay. Yeah, I think I scared myself, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much to create, and it just made me very anxious. So
No, you don't have to. You don't have to do that. Simplify it to what works best for your students. Just make sure that there is, a clear learning component and a clear connection to the competencies, and you'll be just fine.
okay, I got this. Thank you.
Okay, so just one other question, just to clarify, Aubrey, I came on Monday, so I don't have to do the makeup Monday afternoon miss session, right? Or do I?
No, you can't. You were here on Monday.
Monday morning,
So you did the hyperdoc one too.
yes,
Yeah. So then you're all set. You have, in terms of the synchronous part, you have met that requirement.
okay,
The exercise part, the guided practice under the exercise section for the hyperdoc part, you don't have to do that one either if you don't want to. Your attendance at the synchronous session will count for that.
okay, all right, thank you. And hey, Jen Nicholson.
Hello.
Bye, thank you, guys.
There you go. It's coming.
I know you need to look at that form. You need to jump in with Aaron to look at that form for Beth.
Yeah, did she respond? I know that know she wants me to try to get this fixed. I did it last night, but the problem is one of the questions, the question that she included about the grade level band, excuse me, for whatever reason, it's not popping up or Studio isn't picking it up.
Oh,
So I need to play with it to make sure that particular question shows up. But other than that, that's really it. That's
yeah. Well, have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
well, I haven't done a whole lot with it yet. So I'm gonna try to play with it now and see if I can't figure this out. But that's the only thing that's left.
Yeah, and do we have anything that we really need to talk about today?
We should talk about, we should just finalize everything one more time for the instructional design course.
Okay.
Because you're gone next week. So
Yeah.
we can do that sometime today, or we can take a time, like an hour tomorrow, whichever is easiest for you.
Hang on. I've got to quit and reopen Zoom so that I can share my screen.